Well, we'll have to film this from way back here so we don't look too closely. But what we've had to do is modify this piece of linkage. The first thing we did was put a longer bolt in there, half-inch bolt. Actually, ground the head off the other one, and there was a hole there, so we just ground the head off and ground the arm flat, put a new bolt in, welded it, and melted it together. We don't weld here, we melt. And then we had to extend the length of this upper arm, so I've just put a 1-inch piece in there and melted it in place, and we're waiting for it to cool off so we can get our grinder out and grind down some of our melt to make it look halfway decent. But the net result here is going to be a better unit, as much better as it can be. We've moved the cable over towards the center of the car about 2 inches and dropped it down an inch from where it goes through the firewall, and then we had to raise this up an inch. So that shows you how far off the original deal was, pulling downhill almost 2 inches. So hopefully this will work better. We'll wait till this cools off, and then we'll do some grinding and find out. Well, we got our abomination here in some fashion. We put a bolt in here, and actually, instead of drilling all the way through that pivot bolt, we just put a countersink spot in there and then put a point on the end of this 1/4-20 and to locate the bottom arm on the shaft. And then we got a little jam nut there, so that'll be a little easier to deal with. And the other thing is, if we need to clock it, we can just put a series of countersink spots on there. But I think we're going to be clocked all right. It's yeah, this is the backyard, but this is a little too backyard even for me. But it's what we have to work with. Those two spots on either side of the lower arm go through tubes in the mounting block, so that they, that bolt pivots inside that tube, and then we have the spacer here to space the arm out, and then the cable will hook in up there. We got our pedal down here. We're just trying to find a bolt long enough to go through there. The guy had a pin in there before that was just in there and trying to fall out every time you looked at it. So our bolt is just a skosh too short. So we'll hunt around for a longer bolt. Then we'll do something with this aluminum rod so it doesn't look so ugly. And we'll see if we can get it all back in there and get it to work. All right. Got our new cable in place, and while it doesn't look much different than the old setup, it works quite a bit better. No more sawing motion, smooth as butter. And we did a couple of things. So this is where the cable came out before. So we've moved it over here and down, so it's running uphill just a little bit to this bracket that holds the end of the cable. Now, we made that. We had an aluminum arm that you put on there. Somebody did, and it was nice, but what it did is it raised this all up too high to the point where the cable was up here pulling downhill, and when this arm comes back over center, it was even worse, because it starts here and then goes down that way, and it was really pulling downhill at that point. So if I can hold the camera steady, we really eliminated all that. The one thing that I've got to do now is make sure that this doesn't move, because right now the only thing, there's a nut underneath that holds the carb down, and then I've put these star washers on both sides to kind of dig in and keep it from moving. And I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but it really should have something, you know, more than one point of connection to keep it from potentially moving back and forth. The next thing we're going to have to do is, of course, check for full throttle, and there's a little bit of adjustment available here. And then we're going to put a pedal stop inside underneath the gas pedal, because right now when you push on the gas pedal, it pulls the cable until this stops or your carburetor throttle plates are straight up and down, whatever, wide open. And that's not really a good idea. You really don't want to use the carburetor throttle plates as your throttle stop. What you want to do is set that so when you're wide open, those blades are just almost straight up and down, but not quite. You're not going to really lose anything by doing that. And then you've got a positive stop on the floor, so if you want to so-called floor it, that's what you do. One of the things we learned the hard way was right here. They give you a little metal sleeve. It comes on this cable. It's back here. And they tell you, you know, when you cut your cable, then you slide that metal sleeve forward and poke the whole thing into this plastic thing. What they don't tell you is don't pull it back out, ever. Because what happens, the little metal sleeve sticks in the plastic, the braided line pulls out of the metal sleeve, and never, no way are you ever going to get it back in there again. So what we did is just put some heavy wall shrink tubing over the whole shooting match to hold it together. So lesson learned there. Hopefully somebody down the line won't make the same mistake. We still have to put our cotter pin in right here, but that's okay. But really, the throttle is much better than it was before. So now you can see the pedals as we have them oriented. We've just got done heating up the brake pedal to move it a little bit to the left because it was too close to the gas pedal, so we've tried to center it up. You will notice that it's a little cockeyed, but we're going to have to live with that. You know, it's pretty precarious introducing a torch up under there to heat that arm without setting the whole damn car on fire. So we had a pretty nice heat blanket that we put up in there to cover everything, and got the pedal kind of situated. Now we have our throttle pedal, and you can see we don't have a sawing noise anymore. It really works nicely, and I think we'll be able to get our big feet in there and work all of the pedals. We'll find out. Well, now that we got our pedals so that we can push them one at a time, we're starting to work on a few other things in the cabin. We made this spiffy extension for the gear lever the other day, just because we're mounting our seat. We put some seat adjusters under the seats, get them up a little higher, and that way we can move them back and forth, at least the driver's side. But the gear lever is a little too far away. The OG guy had an extension on there that was kind of hokey, really. Piece of all thread and some sleeving and some odd stuff. So we replaced his hokey extension with our own, and hopefully that'll work out a little better. One of the things that we're going to have to do, and this falls into the category of thimp, can't even say it, T-H-I-M-K, thimk, people. When you sit in the seat with your belts on, you can't reach any of those toggle switches for the ignition, the starter, or anything. So think about that a little bit when you're building your car. And then we've got a removable steering wheel hub. One of the things we're going to have to do is cut this collar down a little bit, because there's just barely enough room to get my fat fingers in between the release for the steering wheel and the edge of this collar. So we're going to trim a 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch off of this collar, give it a little more room in there to be able to get the steering wheel off. But that's the project for now, is work on the cabin area.